Good evening, everybody. This is Omar Serrato with the Tilted Lawyer podcast. I am off camera because my camera's not working, and that's just fine by me. Nobody needs to see me, but I'm joined by the legendary Kassidy O'Connell, and we are here to review the Alex Murdaugh. I call him. It's the Alex Murdaugh series on Hulu. That the true crime case that captivated a nation. A couple of years ago, I covered it on my channel. Kassidy covered it in depth on her channel. Not only did she cover it, but she was there in person while it was happening. And
I didn't go to the murder trial. I didn't go to the murder. I went to hearings after.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
that's not as much fun, but still impressive.
But
Funner
it
than I
was
ever got.
I was in the room with Alex. They would haul him out of prison for it.
Yeah.
So,
So you've seen him in the flesh. Like,
I
how
have seen him
closely
in the
does
flesh. We have
Jason
breathed the
Clark
same air.
is he as stomach churning to look at as he is on like TV?
He is. And I think it was worse because at the point that I saw him, he was already convicted and we'd
Yeah.
already been through all those weeks of the trial. Then after that, I had gone through and like deep dived into his financial crimes. That's where I started
Yeah.
with the whole Murdaugh series. I was like, I want to know about these victims because we know so little.
Right.
And so I had seen, and so the victims that he chose to steal from, he couldn't have chosen sadder cases to steal from than he did.
Yeah, I picked
Like
on the weak and the feeble
pure
that was
evil.
unable to
Yeah.
fend for themselves, trusting in their lawyers. And
Yeah.
interestingly, that's where this series kind of picks up. They start in 2019,
Yep.
where they show that he's been in the red for a while. He's got money problems. He's also going through like this weird generational thing. You had directed me to this documentary that you had produced where you're going over, I don't know how many episodes it was, but like you sent it to me and it's like, oh, a 30-minute video. I'll watch this tonight. And it was like, oh, this is episode 1. And then it's like focusing like let's start from the 1800s. It's like, oh, this is going to take more than a night. And so, but it was interesting because it talks about how generationally this family goes back to the 1800s.
Yeah.
And the pictures that they used to introduce Murdaugh's family were actually the real pictures of basically his ancestors. I mean, when you go that far back, pictures that were hanging inside that courtroom were his like actual great-great-grandfather to his great-grandfather to his grandfather to his dad. And the show picks up, obviously they begin the sequence at the scene of the murder, and you just see his wife and his son lying there. And the first thing that comes to my mind when we open that way is that computer generated animation of how the murders actually took place, where they showed how it must have happened based on the evidence that came out in trial, based on the physics and how he must have shot Paul twice and then turned his second gun onto his wife. And then he, the 911 calls and all of that. But that's where we start. And it's like, we open up the scene with that and we're off. And then we cut to 2019 and this party that we're getting ready to celebrate his father in his life, basically a lifetime achievement award. And his wife is making this party and they go into the money problems. And that's where you picked up into that, your investigation into all of the money stuff.
Yeah, that's where I started. And so having like all of that fresh, I was working on my podcast at the time. He, like I said, was already in prison. They would haul him out of prison and he would come in the most extreme chains. They were thick, they were heavy, they were clanky, they were on his ankles, they came up behind him, they were on his wrist, it was wrapped around his waist, hauled in with these people, and then someone would have to sit like right behind him. And he's huge, he's a big guy. And Russell Laffitte is even bigger. I was in the room with all these people, Corey, Russell, all the attorneys, Dick Harpootlian. You know what's funny is I don't know if you follow Mandy on Instagram, but she put her in one of her latest podcasts. She was talking about how Dick Harpootlian, because you could tell the guy's an egomaniac. I mean, I've seen him in person several times now, but
I know the type.
he really feels like he's something, and so the guy they have play him, and it's not a big role. He's only shown up one time so far in the series.
Yeah.
But they have the guy from Parks and Rec. Do you remember? Did you ever watch that? It's a guy, they call him Jerry, but his real name's actually Gary. And at some point he's Larry. He's this sweet, adorable man.
That's
You
one
know,
of those
Dick
shows that,
Tracy should be so lucky
yeah.
to be portrayed by this guy. But all Dick had to say was, they had that short, fat man. And I was like, what in the world? I am short. I'm like barely 5'4". I was wearing heels, but I was 4 feet from the man and we were eye to eye.
Hmm.
So I'm like, what are you talking about, this short man? You know, you are short.
Yeah.
So
Parks and Rec, that's one of those shows that I've heard a lot about. And when I was in law school, everybody was watching it and I was watching other stuff. I think in law school, I was watching like, I don't know, Sons of Anarchy. That was my show. And Breaking Bad, that was my show.
oh, I like Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul.
That was my other show, but that was post
Yeah,
law school.
that was after. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, Jane says she's 5'2". Well, I happen to be 5'10". I used to be 5'11", but I suffered a back injury. Now I'm
Oh,
5'10". I couldn't believe
is
it.
that weird how that can happen?
Yeah, it was kind of disheartening. It's like, well, that really kind of sucks. And it's like,
You
been
know, there's a
5'11" my
surgery.
whole life.
There is a surgery that you can get to make yourself taller, and they like saw your legs and add something in there.
Yeah, forget that. I'd rather be
That
short. That
is sick.
sounds like just way too much.
Like, that sounds like the most painful thing in the world, but some people
Yeah,
feel like it's that important, which is hilarious.
it isn't. Yeah. What are you gonna do? You're gonna get to you're gonna gain a couple of inches in height. Good for you. Now what? Now you can't run. Now you can't sprint. You
Yeah,
can't do any athletics. You're just gonna stand there tall. Basically immobile. Lose all of your athleticism from
in
that.
horrible pain and probably in a wheelchair by the time you're 50, so
Yeah. You've probably taken years off of your life as a result of that because you
yeah,
wanted to feed your ego. Good for you. All
yeah.
right.
I would think your proportions would be wrong too. That would be weird to just,
Oh,
like,
for
have, like,
sure.
really long caps, the rest of you.
Exactly.
Oh, so
All right.
funny.
So let's get
We
into
can
this
go into that
episode.
topic.
Yeah.
What
So
what honestly, as an intro, what I love about this show
yeah.
is that a lot of people had trouble believing that this man could actually kill his family. Like, they're like,
Yeah.
"No way this guy did this," especially because it was a son. And if you look at the statistics, it happens to 3 of us women every single day. It's
Yeah.
actually gone up. It's like 3 point something this past year. And one
That's a
child,
wild statistic. I didn't even
it
know
is
that.
a wild statistic, and that's just in this country. I think when you look at the whole world, it's something like 10.
Yeah.
But, um, kids is like 1 a day, or it was. Just these past few weeks, I've read so many stories of kids being, ended by their parents, and it's insane, and I don't know what kind of hole they have their heads in that they don't see this on the news like I do,
Yeah.
that they still think it's too hard to believe. They also criticized Creighton, who I met him. I've been at one of his music concerts, and then I've seen him, of course, in the hearings, but
Right.
I have his autograph. But anyway, he explained the gathering storm. And if you're like me and you've got a really good imagination, you can imagine this stuff. You can look at a situation, okay, this happened, and in your mind, like, because for me, when I see something absolutely crazy, I can't really rest on it until I've sorted out why and how that happened.
Yeah.
So it's easy for me to take this information and be like, yeah, this is totally it. But for some people, they can't do that. And so they just thought, oh, that just doesn't make any sense. Why would he? How would that help? What would that do? But this series, from the first episode, is showing that gathering storm develop with
Yes.
every little, you see they play a certain kind of like music. It's not really like music, it's more like a sound effect. And they show his face, and you see it happen like each episode, something just adds to it and adds to it, and he gets more agitated. That got him to that point of desperation.
Can we talk about how
That's
amazing an actor Jason Clarke is for a
oh
minute.
goodness. Oh my goodness. He gained
So,
40 pounds to play this. Have you heard him speak in real life?
well, I've only heard him speak like in the roles that he plays. Like the last time I saw Jason Clarke, he was playing Jerry West in that basketball movie about the Lakers, which
Do
he
you know
portrayed.
Go
Um,
ahead.
no, like he portrays Jerry West, but like in this, he's like this crazy lunatic, like cursing every 5 word type of guy and like just losing his mind, like the same kind of just explosive personality. And then he
Mhm.
adds like these subtle aspects to his character to play Murdaugh that was just brilliant. Like just like this guy
Brilliant.
always seething underneath, like this
Yes,
underbelly of
you can feel
seethingness.
it.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah,
just like little things that he does with his face, like little gestures, like little
yes.
inflections in his voice. Like
They
there's like
they
an
all
undercurrent of evil, you know?
yeah, they all do it so well. Maggie's the only one we don't really have a lot of footage of, so I don't really have, like, a really good image or idea of who she was, but
Yeah,
all of the kids, they're just brilliant. They studied these people's body movements and copied them. But Jason Clarke is Australian. I
oh,
had
he
no
is.
idea. I
I
had
didn't
no
know
idea.
that.
I heard him in an interview and I was like, "What in the world?" The strongest accent you can imagine. And then
That's hilarious.
and I've never heard the slightest bit of accent in him, and any I thought he was American. I had no idea.
What is it with British actors like coming up
They're
with
the
these
best.
amazing American accents, and then you don't discover until they've hit it big that oh, they actually
Yeah,
have a British accent.
yeah,
Oh, how about that? You know, that was like that with Dr. House, that guy Charlie Hunman, the Sons of Anarchy guy, and now apparently Jason Clarke. But I
yep,
guess you know he's Australian.
Australian, but
There's other examples, but no, he's an amazing actor.
he's so good. He
I
gained
mean,
40
it's
pounds to do it because he didn't wanna just do prosthetics. He wanted
yeah.
it to be legit,
Well,
and
you can't really differentiate him between like the real guy. Like
I
he
know. I'm
becomes
at that
Alec
point now.
Murdaugh. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And so, anyway, so we open up with a scene, right? And
Mhm.
they start out with him. He's in the courtroom, and it was just brilliant foreshadowing because we know how the story ends, and there no everybody knows how the story ends. That's going to watch this show. They start off with the murder scene, and then they go straight into him in the courtroom in this big settlement, and then he has like this very foreboding, foreshadowing quote. Basically, what did it go? It was even though you don't want to pay the bill, it doesn't
Yes.
mean the bill isn't due.
Do.
It's like,
Yep.
and then there was a pause. And then he's basically asking the jury, I'm asking you guys for money. You know, and he's giving the whole emotional speech about how
Mhm.
this man will never be able to play with his children again. He'll never be able to be at her wedding. And, you know, the whole thing, that the closing argument. And the effect of that was twofold. Number one, Alec Murdaugh was, he was an amazing trial attorney. You can't take that away from him. He had amazing results in court,
Yeah, they
regardless of
said
what
he
you
could
think.
work himself up into tears.
Yeah, which tracks because he did at trial in his criminal trial. I mean, the
Mm,
whole when it would have put on the whole display about how he would never do such a thing to his son, and like the tears and snot running down his face, and like
it's not. Oh my
no,
gosh.
disgusting, like purposefully not like wiping his face. Like, dude, like get a tissue or something. What's wrong with you?
I think they said a juror handed him a tissue at one point. They're not really
Man,
supposed to do that, but
he was just
they were
very
probably grossed
theatrical, you
out.
know. I
Yeah,
know. I mean, I was grossed out. I mean, you're sitting there and you're watching him, and it's for the theatrics of it all. And
yep.
that's the hallmark of a good trial attorney is they know how to turn on the theatrics. It becomes very much not so much about the facts, but in how you could perform and manipulate the emotions. And Alec Murdaugh, if he was anything, was a master manipulator. And then
Absolutely.
they clue you in to he's got these money problems, and they take you in behind the scenes to these settlement discussions that are going on at the firm, and they got this conference call, and they say that look, we're going to offer 600,000 or whatever, and Alec is like, whatever, we're ready to go to trial. And then Alec's dad is in there, who's about to get awarded this lifetime achievement award, and says that, look, we're going to play this whole thing. We're going to say 800. You're going to say 650. Why don't we just settle
Yeah.
it at 750? And then he's like, yeah, that's doable. We're going to do that. And I was like, I'm not doing that. And he's protesting, but he's got like several attorneys in there saying, hey, that's not a bad settlement. You got some issues with your case. And the person that is framing that is his brother, Randy, I think his name was.
Yeah, I got pictures of this, what you're talking about.
Oh,
If you
do
wanna,
it. Yeah, tell me what you want me to put up.
I can't, well, one is the opening bit, but that's
Slide
a
one.
video. So, and then two, the two, you see him standing in court? Those
I
are all
do.
just pictures.
Slides. Okay.
Yeah, slides of, but if you want to start from the beginning, that's one, but it's a video. So I don't know if you.
MP4.
Mhm.
I'll do the video. Hey, whatever happens, happens. We're calling this a trial run for this series of podcasts. So we're learning as we go. So this is your
Series starts off with the night of the murders, and that his phone call. Oh, did it? What's happening?
Oh, I didn't know. I just started pressing buttons. I'm just gonna let it play.
Oh, okay. Yeah, kind of. Now famous phone call that I could recite in my sleep, where Alex calls 911 to report finding his family that drizzly hot summer night. Let's just take a moment to appreciate how well Jason Clarke plays his role. Not just him, but the entire cast really. But let's compare his phone call to Alex's phone call.
This is Alex Murdaugh, 4147 Mobile Road.
That was so great. The squeaky voice. I remember that.
Yeah.
This is Alex Murdaugh at 4147 Moselle Road.
I think Jason does it better.
I know.
I need police and an ambulance immediately. I need the police and an ambulance immediately.
We then get to meet the characters as if we're flies on the wall of Moselle itself. One of the first things that we see is this poem. This was a poem that actually hung in their home, and it was auctioned off along with the rest of the contents. It was seen as very poignant, considering what we now know about the family. He's the fellow to please, never mind all the rest, for he's with you clear to the end, and you've passed your most difficult danger.
Should I pause it?
No, go ahead. I read the poem, and I thought I went back and deleted it. So apparently I didn't. Sorry.
Oh, no worries. Well, we're going to play it anyway.
And the glass is your friend. You may fool the whole world down the pathway of years and get pats on the back as you pass, but your final reward will be heartache and tears if you've cheated the man in the glass.
There was one item that kind of caught our eye. It's a poem called The Man in the Glass. It's a kind of a long poem, but it's basically about how you can fool the world, but not yourself. And the last line is, your final reward will be heartache and tears if you cheated the man in the glass. So kind of an interesting poem to be hanging up in the Murdaugh family home. And we did actually run into a woman who is a historian for Hampton County and actually very close friends with the Murdaugh family. We asked her about it, and she says she thinks it came from Buster Murdaugh, so Alex's grandfather.
What's with that guy in the background looking like Alex Murdaugh creeping me? I was like, who is that guy?
Oh no, I didn't even see that.
No, I just walking up and I got Alec. I don't know, man. He looked kind of like Alex Murdaugh.
Oh, the one that just walked by?
Yeah, the guy, but then
or something. I don't know.
I don't know, man. It's their local newscast. It might be, they're all related over there. I don't mind to imply incest. I'm just saying that they got a lot of people around.
It's a big family, actually.
Yeah, I mean, imagine having. I was thinking about this, like watching the show. Imagine having a lineage that dates back to the 1800s, a lineage of power, and the county solicitor, these powerful lawyers, this law firm that has been around for over a century,
right?
And growing up in that, and that's what struck me the most. So you had 3 generations on display. You had Murdaugh's dad, who's getting rewarded. You have Alec, who is increasingly feeling pressure from all different sides, and the way that this episode progresses, he's seeing his dad being recognized for his lifetime achievement, and he has the weight of the family legacy on his shoulders, and has this personal knowledge that he's in the red, he's got money problems, and it's affecting the way that he's navigating these cases, because $750,000 in a case like that his dad was telling him that, look, we're going to put $750,000 on the books because money in hand is better than, gambling. And we're gambling by taking this trial, which is 100% reasonable. Like the way that they were talking, that is that would have been a reasonable settlement amount. But Alec is balking at that because he's got money problems. So he's not thinking rationally. And then you position that with his sons. One of them is forced into law school. And then you got Paul, who's kind of like screwing around. He's like on boats and stuff. And at the end of the episode, we have the big accident, right? I could not imagine the pressure of being in that family. I could never imagine like pressuring one of my children to follow in my footsteps as a lawyer. And then you must, just giving them that weight. And so just like that generational pressure to maintain the family name. Yep. And you got these pictures hanging in the courtroom and everybody knows the Murdaugh name. There. Yeah. That must have been enormous.
Yeah.
And then
and they do so good at portraying that because the dad is getting older, he's getting sick, and Alex is sensing that. And it was actually Alex's grandpa, the one they called the original Buster, that bailed Alex out all the time. And he had died already. So, and now his dad was getting, he was getting to a place where he had nowhere to run when he got in trouble.
Right. Yeah, and that's so we start there, and then there's some other giveaways in this in the scene, like they're doing like the whole skeet shooting thing with friends at the beginning of the show, and then
there's more on the video that goes through. I can't remember.
Oh, should I keep on? I'll put it back on the thing.
That's going to be one of the many items that people are going to have the chance to bid on, and we'll keep you updated.
We get a glimpse at what they called the playroom. It was filled with guns that were often left laying around the house, in their trucks, in their ATVs, and sometimes just left outside, which led to some of them disappearing. We first meet Maggie outside collecting flowers that turns out to be for bouquets that she's making for an oyster roast that she's planning in honor of her father-in-law Randolph Murdaugh III, who's about to be awarded South Carolina's biggest honor, the Order of the Palmetto. While she's doing this, Alex is out with some of his buddies practicing shooting. In this scene, it's who they call Bruce, but we know him as Russell Lafitte. His name had to be changed because at the time this was being written, he had been convicted, but had that conviction overturned pending a new trial, and has since then pleaded guilty. But out of an abundance of caution, they had changed his name. And also Alex's brother, John Marvin. Alex makes a very interesting statement at this moment that helps us understand his character a little bit better. He said, "It's only cheating if you get caught."
Brilliant.
We learn a little more about what goes on inside the house. They're watching the morning news, where it's announced about the honor that Alex's father's going to receive. And they stress how there have been generations of Murdaugh solicitors that help.
And those pictures, that's like his actual relatives. Like those are the actual people. I'm pretty sure.
No, it's not the actual people, but it looks like their same pose. Like the guy in the middle, that's Buster, and he is really sitting there with the cigar.
Oh.
In the picture. Yeah, I've got the actual picture somewhere.
I thought, that's what I thought, because I saw in your documentary thing the picture of the guy on the left, like the original.
Yeah,
That
guy's
the real picture.
Very similar looking.
Oh, so it's not the same. Well,
no, it's not the actual guys.
Well, never mind then. I will refrain from making assumptions. How about that?
But they're posed just like them.
Yeah, that's what threw me off, and I don't see that well to begin with. So therefore,
and they're still hanging in the courthouses too. They had to take them down for the trial, like Jane said here.
Yeah, I'm gonna let the video keep playing.
Helps us to understand the dynamics of this family. We see Gloria scurrying around in the background, keeping the house going. We see the way Maggie looks at Alex, and that tells us what their hopes and dreams were aiming for. We also learn from this that Gloria is the one who notices that Paul hasn't come home overnight. Just then, Paul pulls up with a big portion of a tree stuck in the front of his car. Just these few seconds tell us so much about how these people related with one another. Alex takes it as a joke, asking him if he's been playing chicken with trees. Gloria is the one who expresses the most concern, saying, "Were you drinking?" Maggie just remarks, "Is the sky blue?" like it's not a big deal, and it's just expected that that's what he's doing. Gloria rushes back into the house to get some peroxide to put on a cut she's noticed on his head. Maggie gets a stern look and says, "You," and you think she's going to chastise him, but it turns out she simply says, "I'm glad you're okay." And then we see how the selfish part of Alex's personality most likely echoed in his family life. As much as he likes to pretend that he was a great, loving family man, a person who does the things that Alex did is ruled by selfishness, and that usually shows up in other parts of life. Apparently, the gun that Alex was out shooting with his friend and his brother is one that he was supposed to break in with Paul. Paul asks him, "You still want to try that new rifle later?" And he says, "I took it out for a spin this morning with Bruce and John Marvin." And as he drives off, we see one of many very well acted, contemplative looks that Johnny Berchtold does so well. Every episode, in the opening sequence at the very end, has some sort of shape come through the green. It has some sort of significance with that episode. And this time, it's a deer. That's it. And then for 2, they're all just slides in the order of the show. That, like you were talking about the court scene, you could like put that up and as you talk about it, so people can see.
So there's
'Cause
slides.
not everybody has Hulu, and so not everybody has seen it. So I
Sure.
just was trying to think of like what we might talk about, and then
Well, this first slide, this is
there's
the courtroom
visuals.
scene. Yeah. Where he's in there and he's kind of just doing his thing. And then Jason Clarke is giving this brilliant closing
Brilliant.
argument summation. I mean, brilliant for like the way that this portrayed. It's like he's telling them the whole thing, and then he's coming off. He's very. Here's what I noticed. He's very comfortable in the courtroom.
Mhm.
He's very theatric in the courtroom. He's very dramatic in his speech.
Yeah.
Like the thing where he talked about, "I got to be honest with you, I'm asking you guys for money."
Mhm.
Because, and to be honest with you, is money going to really cover it? Is this guy ever going to do? And he's doing that whole thing, right? That's straight out of the Jerry Spence School for Trial Lawyers, just basically trying to portray Alex Murdaugh as he was a brilliant trial attorney. He's very skilled, and this is him kind of doing his thing. And he's doing it in a case that they're trying to settle, and then they kind of go, I think this is at the settlement, right? Isn't this the guy that played his brother?
This is before that. Before that, they're at the office, and what I really liked about this is I've always wondered about Randy, because Randy, he's Randolph the Fourth. He should
Yes.
have been the next in line.
Well,
But
he was
he's
the
very,
favored son, wasn't he?
well, somehow Alex comes out as the. It's weird because Randy is the namesake. He's the firstborn. He's the
Yeah.
heir, but you don't hear about him. He's just very, very quiet.
Right.
And so I always wondered, like, what is it about this guy? But you know what really, really got to me is that they did a huge forensic investigation after it was discovered. And Randy was one of the ones that fired Alex, which we end up seeing in the series, but they never found anything on Randy.
Yeah.
And Randy was the first, like, I have a bunch of like the prison calls with Alex calling his family members. And Randy like tried to be supportive in the beginning, but you could tell he's the one who stood off. Like John Marvin was all in, Buster was hot and cold, but
Yeah.
Randy was like steady and very non-emotional. And I just always wondered like where he stood in this, because you just don't hear or know much about the man.
No, I just feel like he was
But
the firstborn. I feel like this is my
like
impression.
he should have been the limelight, but Alex was somehow. It was weird.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I think here's my take on it. I think that Randy was probably the more level-headed of the bunch. He was probably the best equipped to carry on the family legacy. But I think that Alec wanted it more. And I think that
Yeah.
Randy was good with just letting Alec do his thing.
Letting
He
him
didn't
have it.
need, yeah, take it then. You want it, then take it. And he gives like these really in the show. Now look, this case that they're talking about, as far as I know, is a fictitious case. And I think the way that they portrayed it this
that's
way
not
was
one of
just
the victims.
yeah, it wasn't a real case, but they did it like this was kind of the way that they operated. It was very common. Like they would go for these big money settlements. And so in the movie, like Alec is pushing for a $1.1 million jury award. And then Randy's like, yeah, well, I'm not sure because the jury's going to want to know about your client's DUIs and just basically poking holes as you would normally do in a
Right.
law firm, because you got to talk about weaknesses. And then after
Right.
that whole thing where they come to the $750,000 settlement contemplation, let's call it, Alec confronts Randolph. Is like, hey, the next time you want to offer comments about my case, fucking don't. He said it just like that. And then
Yeah.
and then Randy just kind of takes it, because I don't know if it's because they were just portraying him that way in the character, like for the show, or if he was really like that. But like you said in the jury calls, like, he's the toughest one to read because he gives off the least clues into what he's really all about. And so, I don't know, but they start off with this, and by the way, I have not watched, I think, past episode 5, and so I think they're on episode 6 or 7 or something like that. I have
7,
not
yeah.
watched. Yeah, I have not watched
Yeah,
the 7.
I stay up on Tuesday nights and wait for it to be released. But this Monday, I thought it was Tuesday all day. I don't know why. And I was up, and it was like 2:00, and I'm like, my husband had fallen asleep, and he woke up and he looked, and I go, it's still not on. And he's like, do you know what? He noticed the date, and he's like, it's not on today. I was like, are you kidding me? But yeah, I can't wait. I've watched every episode so many times. It's ridiculous.
I try to save them for like when I'm like fully alert and I know that I'm not going to fall asleep. Like Sunday afternoons, I'll watch it with my wife. I don't know, but yeah, I'm only on episode 5. But now that we've restarted this, I'm going to have to rewatch every single episode. I'm basically starting over on account of you. And so, how about that?
Well, yay.
But let's talk about
I'm like
I want to talk.
already sad that there's only one more left. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Oh, well, see, I guess you're just going to have to start over. I think that's the move.
I want them to do a season 2. I actually put that in a comment under the one of the creators, Aaron Carr.
Yeah.
I'm like, could you do a season 2 and like do it the history of the family? Because that would make an amazing season 2, wouldn't it?
Well, no, because I was watching your documentary about it. I mean, I don't know if you call it a doc, but it's basically a documentary.
Documentary, yeah.
Yeah, and going all the way back to the 1800s, that was fascinating to me. Like, it gave me a perspective. Like, wow, the gravity of living life as a Murdaugh. Like, imagine being an unsuccessful Murdaugh, which like puts us like, that's how Paul must have felt.
The pressure. Yeah, exactly.
He was like the wild kid, getting in trouble and doing all this and that. And I just cannot imagine the pressure that he must have been under, given that he didn't really have anything going for him like his older brother. Like, his older brother gets into law school, and then he gets kicked out of law school, but they're going to take care of it for him. And he's expected to do all these things.
Alex spent like $60,000 and it didn't work.
If my kid gets kicked out of law school, I'm not spending $60,000. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, there's prison calls about it. It's so weird.
Let's talk about Maggie, because like you said, we don't know a whole lot.
We don't know, yeah,
about Maggie.
Well, Valerie Bauerlein, she's from the Wall Street Journal, and she wrote a book. One of my favorites. Like, I have two top favorites that wrote about this, and hers is The Devil at His Elbow. And she said that she interviewed, and she was able to interview so many people because of being in the Wall Street Journal, and also she was there every day of the trial. She's been in the documentaries, so she has access to people that will speak to her. So she got a lot of like really good interview stuff. But she said that of all the people that she talked to about Meg, I hope I'm not mixing this up with another book. That's very possible because I've read almost all of them.
Yeah.
But whoever it was, if it wasn't her, I'm really sorry about that. But she said that people did not have much to say about her. And usually when someone dies and you ask people who knew that person about them, all you hear is praise. Every little thing that they did that was good. But you hear nothing about Maggie. Like, I remember, and I read, I think it was a People magazine way back that first talked about them. And they tracked down someone she knew from school. And the person I want to interview Blanca. I've messaged her on Instagram and she hasn't seen it yet. So she probably doesn't check her messages.
Yeah.
Jane, if you know how to get in touch with her, I want to so bad because she's got a
Well,
book out. Anyway, um, there was one person who had gone to college with her, and she was like, "Oh yeah, Maggie was always so slim, and she always made comments about other people who weren't." And I'm like, "That's all you've got to say about this woman who was brutally killed by her husband, and this is the nicest thing that you can say." So it made me think maybe she wasn't a super nice person. I don't know.
well, there's that read on it, and there's also the my take on it is she probably like the way the show portrays her is like she's the one that's behind the scenes, keeping the family together, putting together
Oh,
the
absolutely.
parties, and the dutiful wife, and trying to prop up her husband who has all this
Right.
pressure to be this great person, but
And he
um
just walks all over her.
yeah, like she is trying to keep up appearances, but then he's got substance abuse issues and he's got other issues, and it's difficult. And so I feel like if it's a situation where we don't know much about her, I feel like that's not by accident. It's probably because she kept behind the scenes because she was a dutiful wife that was there to
Mhm.
support her husband. And as a result of that, as often happens in marriages, she kind
She's
of just got
invisible.
ignored. Yeah.
Mhm.
But that was because she sacrificed herself for her husband, and
She
her
did.
husband did what he did anyway.
Yep.
And
Yep.
so it's like this very tragic, like even to
It
like the
is.
very
It's
last days,
very tragic. And watching this episode again for the millionth time, like trying to glean as much as I could out of it, I really picked up like this picture. So she's having to baby him because that just happened at the office. He's upset at his brother. He's upset at his father. He comes home and he's crying to Maggie. Oh, my brother did this to me and my dad took his side and all this. And she's got to fix it all for him. So she's in the middle of planning this whole big thing
Yeah.
for his dad. And in the middle of it, she's got to hold his hand through this.
Yeah.
And then in the end, they start kissing, and then he's like he gets a phone call and he's out of there and he's like, "Put it on my tab." Every time she starts to get a little bit of attention or anything good for her, he ruins it.
Well, then,
Every
he gets a phone call, and he's off, or he's, doing whatever he wants to do. Right. And then she's just kind of the ignored, which is
Yeah.
sad. I gotta admit though, one of my favorite scenes in episode 1 is when she's like settling down and she's like getting 5 minutes to herself. She's like taking a bath.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then Alec comes in with like the jellyfish and just dumps them in the tub. It was like this bit of comedic relief, but she's like furious. Like, can I get 5 minutes to myself? And like they're having
Yeah.
that whole moment. And she's like, I know you've been lying to me. And then
Yeah. Oh,
and I
she's
was like,
such
what
a
is she
good
lying about? I don't remember. Like in the show,
the
did
pills.
she find out about the pills then?
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
catch it. Not even in the second go round. Like, what did I miss?
Yeah, it was about she had just found out about the pills from Gloria.
Mm,
And that really happened. Okay, the timing is off. So I wanna say that too, because I watched the podcast as well. And of
yeah,
course, me knowing the story, I knew some of this stuff wasn't completely accurate. So how they explained it, because I'm sure it drove Mandy crazy too, to like see it not absolutely accurately portrayed here. But they said there's something called emotional. I forgot the second word, emotional something, but it's where to tell the story, like if you're writing a book, you can do it exactly, or doing a podcast, you can do it exactly as how it was. But when someone's trying to act out a scene, you're
yeah,
trying to portray something. You can't just do that because you can't sit there and narrate the whole thing.
right.
But so what they had to do was take a little bit of um liberty with it. So, for example, while all this is happening, actually, Gloria has already passed away by like a year, and it's already Blanca there. But the thing is that they want to come across is how close Paul and Gloria were. She was like his mother, and
Yeah,
Alex takes such he gets so offended by that. By that being said, like I remember in court, he's like, their mother and I raised them. He did not like that being said. But Gloria was there since I don't know if she was there before Paul was born, if she was there just for Buster or when she came, but Paul was an infant when she was there. And so and she was the caretaker his entire life. So they were super close. And that's what they wanted to come across. Like Paul carried Gloria's picture in his wallet. And that's the only picture he had in his wallet was Gloria. And then he had Mallory's picture in his truck, according to Blanca, the housekeeper, when this all happened. But in order to do that, like nothing big was happening that they could have really had Gloria in to show that relationship, but they wanted to give Gloria that time, the screen time. So they made her live a year longer. And so while this is all going on, she's the one there so that you can get a sense of who she was, what she was to the family, and especially what she was to Paul.
Yeah.
So, but it is true. So, and like all this, the boat crash didn't happen the day of the Palmetto. They have to squish things together. And so that's what they did. But Gloria did find those pills, and they were, the three of them, Maggie, Gloria, and Paul, were always looking at, they called Paul the little detective, because he was always finding the pills and telling his mom about it and that kind of stuff.
And that became, a thorn in the side of Alec.
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure Alex hated that.
Yeah. And, getting found out by Gloria and Paul, I'm sure that didn't make him feel great about all of those things. Paul, I mean, he's a fascinating character to me, because he doesn't have much going for him. He's just this problem child kid.
Yep.
He's getting in drunken accidents. He has like these conversations with his mom about, getting in trouble and things like that. At the end of it, at the boat ride, he's just like trying to escape. He's trying to find some kind of escape. Like he's very much portrayed as like this kid that, his brother is going off to law school. His dad is this, in his mind, this big deal, even though he didn't probably have any clue that the walls of the castle were falling down. His grandfather is like a legend. His great-grandfather is a legend. His great-great-grandfather started this law firm that has lasted, for over 100 years. Where does he fit in all of this?
Right.
And so you see him smoking and drinking with his friends and, doing public karaoke with these country songs that I've never heard of, but, just trying to get lost of.
That long neck song. Oh my goodness, the music. Let's talk about the music. I love the music.
I'm not a fan of country music. I gotta be honest, but I could see like how if I lived over there.
My grandparents loved it. So like, yeah. And so I'm out there like chasing these songs down. They go through my head all the time. I was just listening to that song, the long neck song. It's Morgan Wallen. Before we went live, actually, because it goes through my head. But
well, I could see like where it could be, like it would be catchy. Like if I was a young boy and I was like out with my friends, I'd probably dig that song too if I lived over there.
Yeah.
It's just it's not really in my bag.
And I've got a lot of relatives down there because my grandparents moved down there. They retired. So I love the South. But and here's the thing. Several people who are around. That's the thing. A lot of people have spoken, and Mandy's got good connections with people. People trust her, and then like the housekeepers knew all the secrets, and they had relatives and friends, and they said that these boys were little kids, and they would go open the fridge and get themselves a beer. And I was just reading about like if kids are drinking alcohol like that, they literally get brain damage.
Yeah.
And so this was just the life they had. And
nobody was telling them no.
No, ever.
Right.
The way they grew up is outrageous.
And they're trying to make sense of their place in the world alongside all of that while giving themselves alcohol-induced brain damage. Go figure that they'd be a little screwed up. Buster, they portray him. He's supposed to be the golden child, right?
Yep.
He gets accepted at University of South Carolina law. He's supposed to be following in the family footsteps, and Alex is like super proud of him, like giving him hugs and telling him he's going to be this and that. Oh, no, that was Paul, isn't it? And he did it.
He's talking about Buster here, and you could see Paul's face like, well, what am I? Where do I fit in?
Exactly. Yeah. Now Buster, he really did attend South Carolina, but he was later expelled
Yep.
for plagiarizing stuff in law school. And in the show, like in subsequent episodes, I know that they try to talk about how they tried to take care of it or whatever. They don't really, I haven't gotten too far in the narrative, but I don't think that they ever got him out of that, did they? Like he was actually expelled.
Yeah, he was expelled. And in the show, I think the latest episode, he tells his dad he wants to go back, but in the prison phone calls, it's Alex pushing and pushing and pushing. Like every time he talks to the kid, he's talking about that. And before he went to jail, he had paid someone $60,000 to help him, to try to help him get in there. And Alex keeps telling him, contact this guy, he's going to help you.
And we're going to learn, like, there's a lot of other layers to Buster. You know, he may or may not have had a romantic relationship with a young man that passed away on the side of the road. That's going to come up in subsequent episodes. It doesn't come up later, but they start off portraying Buster as this kid who he's supposed to be something, but very clearly he's not all that enthused about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I could picture myself like
really enthused about much, you know.
Yeah, he's just
He
kind of
doesn't have
following along.
much of a personality. He seems nervous and quiet, and
Yeah,
I mean, part of that could be like, you know, when I started seeing him do anything, it was after this all happened. So maybe he was a different person before that. There's no way to know, but
right. I remember seeing him like on TV in the court hearings and just hearing him talk and some of the things, and there was like some rumblings about stuff that was going on behind the scenes, and we could talk about that on a different episode. But
yeah,
they talk about this jellyfish business. What do you know about the jellyfish business?
so that was real, and I think Alex thought that was going to be like that he was really going to make it off of that. So it's something called jelly balls.
Right.
And he was going to sell them to Asia. Like he was going to export. And he thought it was going to be huge. So I think Alex and his grandpa Buster. Buster is the most colorful of all of the Murdaughs. I've done so many episodes on Buster in my documentary. This guy was a monster. He was not a good guy. He was a horrible guy. But you know, they were always trying to make it in this way or that way, and they had all this land, and I honestly think like people had thought that maybe he got this land because he was gonna sell drugs, because the guy he bought Moselle from had been involved in things like that. But this was, and he didn't know what he was doing, so he buys this and he's going to do this jelly ball business, but he's not a disciplined man. He's not going to be there to like from the ground up make it work. He doesn't know how to do it. He doesn't have that kind of commitment to do it. He's off stealing money, so it ends up failing really bad. And so he bought all this useless swampland, and so I think that's what, because it was a big part of his life. It was another big failure that he had. So I think that's, and when we get to the episode from this week, there's really something really cool, but I won't get it. I won't spoiler that. But yeah, that was a real business that he thought was going to be something amazing, and it just failed.
Yeah, we'll get to that next week. But in episode 1, they basically try to tell the story about how he would use his influence as like a solicitor to try to, conduct Southern business, so to speak. And he's trying to like, he's getting his operation shut down, for licensing stuff.
Yeah, because he started operating before he got the license, but that's all stuff that his grandpa would do. Like his grandpa did all of that stuff, and he thought he grew up hearing all of these tales about his grandpa Buster, and he idolized it, and he wanted it for himself, and he thought he could do it, but it was a different world. Like when Buster was getting away with all this stuff, it was a different world.
It was like the 40s and 50s or whatever it was.
Yeah. There was no internet. There was only very local news, and all the locals either adored him or were scared of him.
Yeah,
Alex
which makes a lot of
never
sense.
had the power and prestige that they had. Even Alex's father, he was the weakest of them, because it was too late by then. the world had changed enough that you couldn't just blatantly, like his grandpa was a bootlegger.
Yeah.
He was the solicitor and he was running this whole bootlegging thing. I mean, there was this whole thing about selling babies, like adopting them, but illegally. And he always got away. Other people went to prison, got caught, their lives ruined, but he got away with absolutely everything. And I really think that Alex grew up hearing his grandpa brag about all the things that he did, seeing the kind of respect that his grandpa got. And I think he thought he could be another Buster, but he just didn't realize that life was over.
Yeah, it's like the Wild West. It wasn't that thing. It wasn't that way anymore. And the way they portrayed it was brilliant. Like you got this guy, he looked like a kid. He looked like he was about 25 years old, and he's like enforcing the licensure issue. And the producers, they admitted this was like a dramatic exaggeration. Like it didn't really go down this way, but it was just to portray like this is how he tried to conduct business, and use his position to influence things.
Yeah, exactly. And that happened a lot. And I don't think this guy I don't think this guy I think this is a made up name, but this is kind of how it went. And we'll see him so the guy comes and shuts him down here, and then we're going to see where that goes from there. It did, Gelth. It did. They got the babies. In this case, they got the babies from Florida because it was easier to do it out of state.
Yeah.
And but yeah, it did happen a lot of places. And it was international as well. It was a crazy stuff.
International baby trading. That's nuts.
Yeah. Yeah. But at least back then it was for people who really wanted to adopt a child to like have a child and raise and love. Like nowadays it's for sick stuff.
Oh, I'm sure. Well, yeah, I'm sure it was all well intentioned. But even if it was well intentioned, like there were,
if it's illegal, it's
it's illegal. And then they were like had like these even if it wasn't for sick stuff, it was like for like maybe religious purposes or like these moral compasses that want to impose. But I just got done listening to a podcast about how they were forcing teenage folks who had gotten pregnant to don't get an abortion, but here you're going to put this baby up for adoption, and they would house like these teenage mothers and force them into.
That's what a lot of those babies were. They were from teen moms who had no choice. Some of them didn't want to give their babies up, but they weren't given a choice.
All in the name of religion. Go figure.
That still went on in Ireland into the 70s.
Yeah. That was going on back in the late 90s, early 2000s. As recently as that. I'm sure that there's others, but that's the latest one that I could recall reading about.
Yeah. This scene here is her talking to her sister. I should have gotten the sister in it, but it was kind of hard. So Alex had cheated on her, and he buys her this beautiful little diamond tennis bracelet, and the sister's questioning her about that and asking, have you forgiven him? And she's like, oh, we're stronger for it. But her face and voice belie her words, because you can tell that she's still very much not okay.
Yeah.
But she's telling herself that because I think she thought, she'd worked so hard, given up her entire life to see this man succeed, and her kids were almost raised, but not quite. They were like college age and stuff. They, weren't set up in the world yet. And the glory that she thought, she was watching the dad get this palmetto honor, and she's like, oh, that's going to be you one day. Like she was ready to start reaping her rewards of all the sacrifice she'd done. And so that's what she was holding on to, because she didn't have an identity anymore. This was her whole identity was being Mrs. Murdaugh.
Yeah, and that's why, like, when we go looking for information on what she was like, we don't know, because she was the invisible.
That's all she was. She was Mrs. Murdaugh.
And I'll tell you what. So, like, I know that in real life, the affair had happened like 15 years prior.
Yeah, it wasn't just a year before.
Yeah, they were trying to tell a story about like how like all of these things had gone on, and like it was all leading up to a thing. Because the reality was like they were getting divorced. Like she was planning on divorcing him at the time when everything happened. Like there was all kinds of stuff going on. There was the opioid addiction. I'm sure there was a lot of other stuff
under her car seat. Like she wasn't wearing it.
Right, but they're trying to do their best in 8 episodes to tell the story.
Right.
And then in subsequent episodes, there's this hilarious episode where Murdoch is going off like to like this club. I forgot where they're at. They're on vacation somewhere, and it's like going off by himself to the club with young folks. He's trying to hit on some like 20-year-old whatever. And she's like, "Oh my
Yeah,
God, be
in
lost."
the Bahamas. Yeah. He could do that in South Carolina, but get him out of there where nobody knows who he is. He's just a fat, pink, middle-aged man.
He's just a weird old guy. He's like, "What are you doing here? Like,
Yeah,
do you
he's
need
like,
something?"
I think you're in the wrong place." That was hilarious. No, he didn't stop with other women, Jane. Yeah, there was there's a I'll save that because it does come up in a later episode. But I love the food there. I love seafood, and these oyster roasts are delicious. I had some while I was there. Absolutely delicious. And this picture, look at that. Doesn't that look amazing?
No, that looks real. Yes, it
Really
does.
good. And so I have pictures. This was from a restaurant in Beaufort I ate at after one of the hearings, because one of the hearings I was at was in Beaufort. Doesn't that look amazing? I ate that whole thing.
I don't blame you. I mean, it looks delicious.
Yeah. And then
It
here,
looks
this
like a
was
good
in
time.
Charleston. I ate this whole thing too. This was in Charleston. I forgot the name of the restaurant, but it was really, really nice. There was a plaque in the downstairs part that said that I think Venus Williams, it might have been Serena. It was one of the Williams girls.
One of the
They said
Williams.
they named that as their favorite restaurant in Charleston. And
Hmm.
I completely understand why. It was delicious.
I get it.
So that, but yeah, that's just the oyster roast, and I got distracted by the food. Oh, Jane, that's what I was talking about. They actually have that in, I think, episode 6. They have something about her in there. Yeah, Charleston has amazing food, doesn't it? I'm sorry, I'm
I've
off
never
to the
been to Charleston. I know that's
Oh,
off tangent, but
Charleston.
acceptable. I've never been, but I would love to go. And probably the first places I would go to eat is one of them seafood places for sure.
Oh, you have to, because it's right there. It's so pretty. You can walk along the water, and there's dolphins like come right up to it. And there's like
Yeah.
little dolphin boat tours and stuff. Yeah, I
I
have
would love to do that.
some of my ancestors on my mom's side are from there, like way back. Not anybody I knew, but
So after that, we get into like some of this the boat crash tragedy cover up. So after the party, they have the whole party,
oh yeah.
and it goes
Say
into
about
this.
Duffy Stone. That's who they're referring to. He's the one that Alex's dad says, "You're the one I want to take over the solicitorship," after he let it go, because they used to allow you to be a private attorney and a solicitor, because solicitors don't make good money. And for
Yeah.
anyone like me, us Yankees who had no idea what a solicitor was, they're like a DA in
Yeah.
a more rural area. So, but they don't make a lot of money. And so they could have a private practice, and that's where they'd make all their money. And then they stopped allowing it. And so that's why Alex didn't want it. I don't know why Randy didn't want it, but the dad let it go too. And so Duffy, I just wanted to point that name out because he ends up in the boat crash stuff in real life later. But this was too what you were talking about. So the guy, and that was fictitious, but it just shows how they maneuvered. So that guy who shut down his jelly ball thing, so here's what he does. At the oyster roast, the governor is there. And so he hauls the governor over to meet this guy and introduces him. And then he's like, he says in front of the guy so we can hear him, he says to the governor, he has future state director written all over him, doesn't he? And it kind of, the guy's so excited to meet the governor, and then he's like impressed by the whole thing. And then pretty soon he's back in business. So anyway, sorry. I just wanted to catch up. I was trying to get to what you were talking about in the pictures.
No, that's good. Like these
you were
slides that you have are really good. I like the slide idea.
Yeah,
I
they're
think we
mealy,
should keep those for future episodes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if I just do the slides, it's better than doing the video.
Yeah, it's less cumbersome, and it's
Yeah.
we can kind of talk over it, and it keeps us. It's like bullet points. I like it. you know.
Yeah, and then you can let me know throughout the week if there's like when you watch episode 2, let me know if there's like something specific from there that you want me to screenshot,
Yeah,
and I'll
I think
and
what
I'll
we should
get you
do,
a screenshot.
like I will just send you my screenshots, and then we'll try to like work them in, and maybe we'll have like
Oh,
matching
okay, yeah.
screenshots. You
Yeah,
know what I
maybe you
mean?
can get better ones.
Yeah.
So
Well, I don't know if they'll be better. There'll just be there'll be other screenshots. Like they'll
so yeah, we could do that, and then I'll put them in chronological order, and then we've got them. So this is the when they get the call that the other guy wants to settle. You were talking about this earlier,
yes.
and it's 350,000 less. Alex wanted the 1.1 million,
Yeah.
and it ends up being, what is it, 750 or something like that. And
750. Yeah.
yeah, and he's like, Alex is mad, but they do get big settlements there. It's crazy. Like the the cost of living and the average salary is not really high there. Like property is so cheap, so much cheaper than here, but
Yeah.
they get bigger settlements there than a lot of big cities do because of the situation that they got set up. And it was his ancestors, especially his grandpa, that made that happen. Like that jury it's one of the judicial hellholes, it's called. And the Hampton jury is feared. Those people will award huge amounts. And he knew that. So it's in the documents about the Gloria Satterfield when she fell on his stairs, and he sued or he had Corey sue his insurance company. It's
Yeah.
in the paper. I have the files here behind me, of those insurance guys saying, talking about the fearsome Hampton juries and how they're just better give him what he asked for, the maximum they can give, because if it goes to a trial, it's going to be even worse. Like they're literally having that conversation.
Yeah. And then in the midst of that, like it struck me that Alex's dad, Randolph, he's like,
Mhm.
look, because he pulls him aside, he pulls Alec aside and is like, dude, what's the deal? He's like, look, this is my case, this is my client.
Mhm.
I'm not settling for 750, whatever. This is my case. And he's like, I ain't some podunk juror, son.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm getting ready to retire. We're putting 750 grand on the books, and you're just gonna let it be. He says something to that effect.
Yep.
And yeah, I'm hanging it up. And it was brilliant. It was because logically, that's the right move. But it just
Mhm.
shows like it's like the beginning
Good.
of Alec beginning to become unhinged. Like he has an
Yep.
agenda separate from the family business. And it's like the first, I don't know if it's the first signs, but it's like it is definitely a sign or a red flag that he might not be altogether on the up and up, even with his own family. And it was an important scene to see just for that. He's starting to step out of bounds a little bit. And a lot of that has to do with
The
desperation.
situation. Yep. Yep. And that's what I love about this. It really shows the state of mind he was in and what that gathering storm looked like.
Yeah.
And so now, like the people who couldn't, without vivid imaginations that just heard Creighton speak, now they can actually see, they can watch it happening. It was really coming from so many places.
Yeah. And so after this scene, there's the actual party. There's Randolph's celebration. He's giving speeches, and then there's a toast, and then there's everybody just kind of like it's like this weird social climbing event. You could just kind of tell like the network that was going on. It's just kind of the way that things were run over there, and the way
Mhm.
that they would get ahead
Good
over
old
there.
boy system. It really
Yeah.
was.
Maggie's trying to get Randolph to show Alex more love. Like there's that whole
Mhm.
scene where she's trying to say, hey,
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. And he's like, what did he say? And she's like, he sent his wife to go patch things up for him. It was crazy. And then all she wants is a dance, and he just leaves her on the dance floor again.
Yeah, sorry, got to go.
Yeah.
And then there's the Paul versus Buster. We got to talk about the fight, man.
Mhm.
Like just the way that whole thing. I don't know. I've never fought with my brother that way, like
Yeah,
in
no.
like this public thing, like this knockdown, drag out. Like we're just we're getting in a tussle in front of all of these people, but that's, they portray. I don't know if that actually ever happened or
Yeah,
not.
I would
Did you
love
ever
to know.
find that out? Yeah, I can see the two of them like getting into it like that. If for no other reason that Paul was kind of a little bit unhinged,
Yeah,
and he would
yeah,
do things for attention. Buster seemed like more inclined to keep things straight on the up and narrow or whatever. But Paul, trying to find his place in the family, would be the one to step out of line, if for no other reason than he wants the attention. So he draws
yeah,
attention to himself. And in the scene, it's this drunken shouting match. The parents are breaking it up. It's like this visual of a family that's supposed to be perfect to everybody on the outside, but it is falling apart.
yes.
And what did you think about that scene?
Yeah, and it was one that left me wondering. And Mandy is friends with some of these people, not friends with them, but like Morgan comes and talks to her. And
Yeah,
then she's good friends with Mark Tinsley, who was the attorney for all of these kids except for Connor. So they know a lot of things. Also, Morgan has come and been on several documentaries, and she's told a lot of stories of things that Maggie told her. So I'm sure that they have access to a lot of information that we don't have. And Mandy's such a big name. Mandy and Liz, there's such a big name there that I'm sure that a lot of people come and tell them stuff
yeah.
and people who would know like this stuff happened. But Blanca, the housekeeper, she's got a book coming out, and I can't wait to read that because
Good for her, man.
she was in that house.
Yeah, we love Blanca. I feel
Oh,
like Blanca like
absolutely.
won that trial.
Blanca and Shelley, like those two, their testimony, some of my favorite testimony of the whole trial.
Yeah, I mean, Blanca had it down like, no, I know that he wouldn't have put his shirt right there. That's nonsense. She just had it all
Yeah.
down pat.
Yeah.
What I found brilliant, because like we're getting like to the end of the episode here, where we're getting into like the crash and stuff, like the last 10 minutes of the episode. But what I love about this episode is that it perfectly frames why such a thing would happen. Because like you said at the very beginning of this show, is that people don't understand, like, why would he murder his wife and son?
Mm-hmm.
And then you just have like the context of it all. He's failing financially. He's got the pressure of a 150-year-old family legacy on his shoulders, that is in danger of cratering because he doesn't have it together. His wife is getting ready to leave him. Buster is not all he's cracked up to be. He doesn't even want to be a lawyer. Paul is over here getting into boat crashes and causing more chaos that he's having to deal with on top of everything else. It's all this like I don't want to call it a cesspool. It's just like it's leading up to an explosion of what eventually happened. And it was starting all like back in 2018, 2019, going into 2021, where you could see where somebody that was on the fringes of sanity, such as Murdaugh, would just lose his shit. And maybe in his in the midst of his opioid addiction, perhaps in the depths of his own despair, he felt like, yeah, it's completely logical. We're just going to get rid of Paul. I'm going to get rid of Maddie, and that will just cure everything, and it'll somehow be able to right itself. But you start to see like where it started to make sense for a guy that was clearly his sanity was deteriorating openly. This episode sets all that up perfectly in just a way that I had never considered before. When you put it all like that, it kind of makes sense. What do you think about that? What do you think about that?
Oh, absolutely. That's the thing. Well, I always loved hearing Creighton, and he made his little PowerPoint presentation, which always captures my heart, and went through the whole Gathering Storm. And I mean I thankfully have a very good imagination. Like I could see this whole movie in my head through what just listening to him. But I really feel like it does. Like right here is Gloria presenting the pills. That was going to be a big problem. Here's Paul, always the one winning. Oh, there's the Long Neck song in the background. I could see the lyrics showing there. He's winning every drinking contest, and there's literal pictures and video of him doing this.
Yeah.
They wouldn't just drink it through the top. They'd poke a hole in it and gulp it down, and he was always the one to win. And then he's turning into Timmy, and then here's that scene you
Oh,
were
it's my
talking
favorite scene. I know, the jellyfish scene. I
about.
know
Yeah,
you
so she
probably don't like it. It was just it made me laugh
yeah,
is all.
I'm just imagining that happening to myself and yeah, what that would feel like. My husband would never,
It's
but,
something that I might do. Well, I wouldn't do it now, but it's something I might have done in the past is all I'm saying. It's like, what? They're already dead. By the way, I didn't know that was a thing where you could touch a jellyfish when it's dead and not get stung. I just assumed
yeah.
that it was the other way around, that it still hurt you
Yeah,
somehow.
because like, wasps and stuff I wouldn't touch a dead one either. Oh, and then he gets
No.
the call. Yeah,
Yeah. It's like,
and
oh,
he gets
poor Maggie. At first it made me laugh, and then she could just tell, like, she was having a moment,
when
man.
she
She
started
really needed some peace and quiet, and Alec is over there screwing around. I felt for her in that moment.
yeah.
Um,
And then this scene, did you ever see the real video of this? This is so much like what
yes.
really happened.
The documentary that came out on Netflix, was it like a year or two ago? I forget when it came out, but they had some of that footage, I recall, of him going in there and but yeah, going down there to like to shake down people, and Paul is in there and
Mhm.
carry on a scene.
Yep.
Gelf, Geith? Is that Geith or Gelf?
I
Omar,
always
still
think
hurts like hell if you touch a dead blue bottle. Well, I will not be touching a dead anything. How about that? But he said that it's a dead jellyfish. You can't sting it. I didn't know if that was true or not. And so,
yeah, I wouldn't
but
risk
I'll
it. I don't
take
know
your,
who's the one who found it out.
I know, I don't want to find out exactly.
Yeah.
This kid looks so much like Paul, man.
Yeah, he does so good.
Yeah.
I've seen this actual picture and video of him, and this kid just he embodied him just like Jason Clarke did.
I know the actors are so good in this scene. Now, I don't know much about the dad, but I'd imagine that that's what Alex's dad would have been like. I mean, I have no other frame of reference.
Yeah,
The
I
only
don't
thing we
I've
know,
not seen video really of him.
yeah, I
So,
don't think much exists. Like, the only thing we know about him is he was sick on the night that the murders occurred, and
yeah.
well, that was it. And then he
Died
died
3 days.
shortly thereafter.
But this
Um,
moment, this was one of the most brilliant Jason Clarke moment. This was the first one that just like chills head to toe when his dad tells him because Paul called his grandpa. Paul didn't call Alex when he had the crash. He
yeah,
called his grandpa, and his grandpa called Alex, and they come down there. And so yeah, he tells him one's still missing, and then you get this, and that music starts, and it's
yeah,
like the gathering storm. It just, I mean, just look at that. He's
yeah.
just you just see it. Look at that. It just sets in. He's like, what? Oh no, I'm
The
screwed.
music swells and stops.
Yeah.
You did such a good job with that. Um,
Yeah, he's brilliant.
No, it was a great scene, but it just, look, he's trying to be somebody. This is my impression of it. He's trying to be like the big guy, but his
Mhm,
dad is there. His dad is the one that got the call, and his
mhm,
dad is the one that's in control, and his
mhm.
dad is the voice that everybody is listening to, and he's really just kind of a sideshow, isn't he?
Yeah,
And
he
he
is.
recognizes that, and then on top of all of that, he's really going to have to deal with the fact that, hey, there is a dead teenager that, well, potentially, for all he knows, there is a missing girl. And if they don't find her, they find her, she turns up dead. That's serious. And on top
Mhm,
of everything else that's brewing, that's the face, I guess, that you would make 100%.
mhm.
I get
Yeah,
it.
it's just brilliant. I
Yeah.
did,
And so,
this other one that says actors, that's really a quick one. I took, because I've seen so many videos of the kids, like, from their Snapchat videos and stuff. Look at the way he walks. Did you see that? And then watch Paul. Like, these guys copied everything they could. Like, the way
yeah.
he moves, he made sure that everything he did was just like how Paul moved. And then, Connor I mean, not Connor, Anthony, the way he does this, and then here's the real Anthony. Like, they looked at these things and they copied the movement. I mean, of course, he's drunk there, but,
I will
I
say this. Paul had a hilarious walk. He just looked like he walked like a kid that was like, I mean, I don't know. I
yeah,
shouldn't laugh, but he had a funny walk, is all I'm gonna say.
yeah. Well, he
Look
was
at that.
drunk all the time.
Yeah.
Ye
But yeah, they caught it. They caught it. Um,
yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any
And
more?
the Connor, the kid in the pink, I missed it. He like shook his head. It was just like how Connor does.
Yeah.
It was a really good job. The kids don't look, those other kids don't look anything like who they're playing. Like you don't know unless you read the subtitles who they're supposed to be, or somebody
Right.
says their name. They don't look anything like them, but they copy their movements so well.
Did they ever find that girl that disappeared off the boat? I want to say that
Yeah,
they did, didn't they? They
it,
found her.
it took 8 days, but
Yeah.
they found her.
Not right away, but yeah, they did. They did find her, and they found her in the state that she was in. And so yeah, that was a real thing. There was issues with that, and it
Yeah,
was just I mean,
so
one
sad.
of many problems that they had.
Yeah.
After that, we got into well, they showed the crash and like
Yeah,
everything leading up to that. We talked about the
that's how
hospital
it
scene.
ended. It
Yeah.
ended with the boat crash. That scene, there's one's missing, and the music swelled, and that's
Yeah.
where it ended.
And then we
Yeah.
wrap up, and then we go into episode 2, and I almost started watching it, but then I had to get ready for this show, and then I figured out that my camera wasn't going to work. So there was that. But yeah, that was our recap of episode 1. Not bad for our first run of, I
Yeah.
guess, 8 episodes that we're going to do. And I'm
Yeah.
so excited to do this with you because you're like the person to do it with.
I'm so
I had-
obsessed with this case.
I know. I had no idea that you were so deep into the Murdaugh case. It's like, well, if I'm going to do it anyway, I might as well do it with Kassidy because she knows everything about the case.
Yeah. Oh, a year ago. Now I got so much useless Blake Lively stuff in my head. But
Well, I had to
a
take
year
a
ago,
Blake
I
off of
really
that.
would have been on it. I knew I was like an encyclopedia with this stuff. But it's been a while. So
I've
but,
gotten so caught up in my in the trial that I was doing up in San Francisco that I have fallen
Lauren
off on the
or
line.
Laura.
Yeah, for Laura Owens, I have to. I got to get caught up. I understand that there's
You're an
motion for
attorney
summary
in that,
judgment.
right?
Yeah, I was representing Mike Maricini in that one. I was co-counsel with Rachel Juarez, and
Oh,
we got
that's
that case
so cool of
dismissed.
Rachel.
Yeah, and so
I would
that
love to
case.
hear Rachel's take on that, the South Carolina case that I sent you.
Oh, you know
I would
what?
love to hear her take on that.
Maybe we'll bring her in for one of these episodes. It's gonna have to be like not at midnight though, because she
What
will
time
not. It's gonna have to be during the day. Yeah, but she would love
Yeah,
to come in on this case.
Oh, I would. Yeah. Yeah. That's so sad, Jane. That's Mallory's last video.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I would love to hear, because I want to hear her take on that case. And because it's so, you can find Doe cases,
Yeah.
but you see how they're done, like what the process is. But then you always get the people who stand Blake so hard. They're like, well, that doesn't mean that it's wrong. They just blah, 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 blah. Well, that finally I found a case where a judge said, no, you cannot do this. You cannot use this as a evidentiary thing, and so I would love to hear a judge's take on that.
Well, that's always been my thought.
I feel like, I've been screaming this stuff for months, but nobody pays attention because I don't come on here and say, here's my credentials and I know what I'm talking about or anything like that. So it's like, but I get so upset that no attorneys are doing it.
By the way, Landshark, is there a playlist that I could watch chronologically of Owens' case? I actually have a playlist on my channel where I go all the way back from the beginning, from the very first time I found out about Laura Owens, and it leads up all the way till I just did this afternoon with me and Rachel. We did a post-mortem on the Maricini case that it was supposed to go to trial and it got dismissed.
I can watch that.
And we're talking about our experiences with that and how we've been hit with bar complaints from Laura Owens because she didn't like that we said mean things about her once. Anyway, we talk about all of those things, and it's good listening. It's a lot to listen to. If you're going to dive into the Laura Owens case, good luck. Just take your time. Don't try not to get overwhelmed. It's going to be a lot. And so I'm not sure if it's better to start from like today and work your way backwards, or from the very beginning to work your way up. But I just know that case has got a lot more attention on it now. It got picked up by Inside Edition. Law and Crime is talking about it now.
Oh,
Dozens of other content creators are now talking about it, where it's been just kind of on the periphery really since 2024, when I first learned about it with Clayton Echard. And so it's a good one to get in. It's wild, and you're going to do like more than a couple of double takes. Like, there's no way I just read what I read. No, you read it, and you read it correctly. It's really good. It's a really good killer of time. Put it that way. Put it on while you're like washing the dishes,
one of
or
those. Yeah, you
cleaning
get
the house,
sucked in,
or
you can't stop watching.
or you just want to like lay in bed and listen to something, occupy the time for a couple of hours. At any rate, I think it's time to wrap up.
Yeah.
Kassidy, this is I really enjoyed this one. I can't wait to do episode 2. We'll do
Yeah.
those. Do you want to pick like a set day and time?
If you want to, I don't know how your schedule is. Mine's different because I travel a lot.
Oh yeah, you are a
But
traveler.
we can try to do that.
Usually
to aim-
9 p.m. I should
That
always
works
be
better for you.
okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Yeah, because I know you got the little ones and you've got
yeah.
important job. So
Yeah. And so
I'll leave it to you. And
okay. Well, I'll tell you
I'll let
what.
you know.
We will aim for next week at 9 p.m. Any day next week, I guess. I don't know. We'll pick a day.
Okay.
But we'll have time to prepare, and then we'll just do this like around this time. We'll figure something out. We can
Yeah.
figure all that stuff off of the live.
Yeah, let me know, because
but-
I think my schedule is more open unless I'm, not here. But even if I'm not here, I could still go live from where I am usually.
All right.
Unless
Yeah.
I'm petting meerkats. I got to pet meerkats in Korea. Got to hold them and everything. So cool.
Meerkats.
Meerkats. I was
The
in
little
my
gopher looking things.
Yes. I used to watch Meerkat Manor.
That's what I know them from. Meerkat Manor, the Discovery Channel.
Remember Flower was the matriarch? She was so cute. Yeah, they have a meerkat cafe and they have foxes. I got to hold foxes. Of course, as soon as it hit my lap, I grab it with my hands, to feel it. And they're like, no touching. I was so upset. All the rest of them we could touch, but not the foxes, because I guess they can bite.
I'm sure they could. I would
Yeah,
not
but
be brave enough to
like
touch a fox.
hold little treats to make it jump into your lap, so they're up in your lap.
Yeah.
And the meerkats, one of them climbed on my husband's head. It was so, I'm like, climb on my head. But they did climb in my lap. But and they had baby kangaroos and these animals called hyrax, I think it was called. I'd never heard of it. And this other one, it started with a D, a really weird name, but the as they grow up, they get a little freaky looking, but when they're babies, they're really cute. And she had it in this little sack and just this little face poking out, and I got to feed it this fruit, and it squealed. It was so happy when I gave it a piece of fruit. It was the cutest thing. But yeah, you could raccoon. I held the fattest raccoon and I squidged its sides because you could touch all the others. I was in my glory, but you only get to go see the meerkats once. And
Is once enough? Like, do you need to go more than once? Yeah.
No, you need to go again because it's limited time too.
Oh, I see.
They time it, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to pay for a second ticket. But every time I go back, that's all I'm going to do now. It's just go there.
If I'm ever in South Korea, I think that my next vacation destination is Japan. Like, I've been watching with my wife.
I love Japan.
Like, we watch these videos just about people in Japan, like their everyday life, and it just like looks so peaceful. And they always talk about how they're so depressed.
Safe.
Yeah, but it just looks like so, I don't know, inviting.
The food is
really
amazing.
Yeah, that's honestly.
Oh my God! Of all of the Asian countries I've been to, that's my favorite food, and then Hong Kong is second. But yeah, the Japanese food is so good.
Well, maybe we'll go in December. I'll take my wife there. I got to pick a vacation destination for her.
You might run into snow. It does get cold.
Oh.
So because you guys are Californians,
yeah.
so you gotta take your warm stuff.
Well, maybe
But
we won't go there then. Maybe we'll just stick to Mexico or something. We were supposed to go to Cabo the
oh,
last couple
nice.
weeks ago, and that got canceled because of my trial. Um,
Oh,
so maybe I'll find like a warm weather climate type of place. I don't know. I'll
yeah.
figure all that
But
out.
it's beautiful in the spring when they have
Yeah.
the sakuras blooming. Yeah.
Omar, if you go back to South Korea, you're going to go laugh at Johnny Somali. I don't even know who that is. Who is Johnny Somali? Oh, I guess you don't know either. So
Oh, the kangaroo. Yeah, I've seen kangaroos kick and punch. These were really little and they looked very, very sad. I felt sorry for them. I thought, like, are you supposed to still be in the pouch? Like, why do you look like you want to kill yourself? It did. All the other animals were thrilled, but the baby kangaroo did. It looked like he wanted to die. It was very sad.
oh,
I had a little talk with it, but it didn't work, and it just like turned around and hopped away.
I
I
heard
was
that
not what it needed. Yeah, I
that that
tried.
they that kangaroo is like part of their diet in Australia.
Yeah, I guess they have so many that I
Yeah, but
just
like I don't know, man. It just doesn't seem
I
like
just
something that
couldn't
would
do it.
be.
Like, well, I think because 'cause they're so special to us, it's just like,
I
why would
guess.
you ever do that? But if they're just the common thing you see happen, I guess it's different. Like, I guess it's like people here eating rabbit.
But
So
rabbit makes sense because it's like a. I mean, I don't know why it makes sense, but there's like so many of them. Well, I guess that would be the logic, wouldn't it? There's so many of
yeah,
them, so you might as well.
it's like not special anymore. Yeah, but I
Yeah.
I still can't eat rabbit. But I'm like the worst. I went, I mean, I do eat meat, but I couldn't if I saw it killed or like had ever taken care of it and killed. I just could. I mean, and I'm a hypocrite because I do eat meat. But we went fishing. What I told you, my grandparents retired to the south, and when we went down there, my grandpa got a boat, and we went out on the boat, and my sister caught a fish, and the poor thing, she was so excited that she caught one. And but I looked at it in the bucket, and I'm like, it's gonna die now. And I cried, and she ended up feeling so bad, and my dad too, and they threw it back in the water. So I'm
Oh
like the
well,
last person you want to take fishing.
it's all mangled. It's gonna die
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah, it probably died anyway. Like it served no purpose after that. But yeah, I love animals like more than people. So
Oh, then I gather my wife loves animals too. She sits there like well while I was watching this show, she's over here like watching animal spa days or whatever. Like they're giving like a spa day to a dog.
oh
It's
wow.
like, why do people do this?
You got a good one then. You got a good woman. When people
Yes,
love
I do.
animals, they're usually good people.
I agree. That you know what? That's probably a true statement. I think that's a good measuring stick.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
anyway, I'm gonna call it a night,
Okay.
Cassidy.
Go
Thank you so
watch
much
some
for doing this with me.
animals with your wife.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. For everybody, thank you for joining us and
Yeah,
sticking
thank you
with us
guys
for
so
this
much. So good to
inaugural Murdaugh review series that we're doing. I'm really excited. We got 7 more of these to go, and so
yeah.
we're gonna get a lot better at this. This was like the pilot episode. Well,
Yeah.
next time will be better, and we'll
It's
get
like
the
the
hang
first
of it. But
pancake. You know how the first pancake is never right?
yeah, it's for the dogs, and then you make the second one. It's gonna be better.
That's delightful. I don't know why that is, but it always happens.
Just how it is, man. It's the truth of physics for whatever reason. Anyway, folks, I love you
All
all,
right, have a
and
great night, everyone.
we'll
Thanks
see
so
you all
much
next time.
for fun.
Bye bye.
Bye. Thanks, Jane, for modding.